I'm Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington. And for today's Tuesday tip, I want to talk to you a little bit about decorating your envelopes. We put out a lot of work into making our cards, and then we don't think about the envelope itself. How fun would it be to get a cute little envelope in the mail when you receive a fun card? So the first one that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, this is really quick and simple. I made this card. I'll show it to you up close here. I made this card and I used our Snailed It stamp set, and I could mail it in just a plain white envelope. It would fit, it would be fine, but I want to step it up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the coordinating designer series paper that goes with that stamp set. And by the way, this set does retire tomorrow. So if you like that cute little snail guy, you're going to want to buy this set before it retires. It comes available in an entire suite of products where you can get the paper, the stamps, the die cuts, and a few extra embellishments. It's a fun little kit. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my adhesive. Hang on just a second. I forgot my adhesive. Okay, so I'm going to take the adhesive, and I'm sorry I don't have a better angle for my camera for you to see what I'm doing, but I'm putting adhesive on the lip of the envelope, on that back fold, just right here on the fold there. And then I'm going to take my designer series paper, and I've cut it to 2.5 by 6 inches, just so that it's a little bit bigger than what I need. And I'm lining it up right on the back of that envelope, right on the very edge. Now all I need to do is take my scissors, which I also forgot to grab, and I'm going to use the back of the envelope where I can see the envelope itself, use that as my guide to cut off the excess. So let's go here. You see how quick and easy that was? I just trimmed it off to match the envelope itself. And now, when I mail this card, it's got the matching paper on the envelope. Isn't that cute? Who wouldn't be happy to receive that in the mail? Now, my other idea takes a little bit more time, but it doesn't take a lot, and it's a lot of fun as well. On this one, I'm actually going to stamp on the envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a piece of scratch paper, that's all this is, and I'm going to put the edge of the envelope over it. It's hard to kind of see, I think, on the camera, but you can see I just put the edge over it. The reason I'm doing this is that way, as I stamp the edges of the envelope itself, it'll go off onto the scratch paper and not onto my work surface. I'm using our stamp set, All Things Fabulous. If you like flowers, this is a great set. It uses two-step stamping where you stamp one image and then you stamp another image on top of it to give it a little shading and decoration. It's kind of a neat set. And I'm going to use this along with our Misty Moonlight ink and our Shaded Spruce ink. Move some of this stuff out of the way so I can show you what I'm talking about here. I made this card the other day using that stamp set and some cardstock, or I'm sorry, some of our designer series paper that I had. And so I want to match my envelope to my card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Misty Moonlight ink, and I'm going to stamp this first image. Remember I said that you stamp one image and then stamp another on top of it. I'll show you how I do that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off. What stamping off is I inked up my stamp. Now I'm going to stamp it onto my scratch paper first. It gets some of that excess ink off. So when I stamp it on my card, I get a lot lighter image. You can see it there. It's not as dark as my original one. You can see the difference between the two. And I want that lighter image right now because I'm going to stamp the second image with the darker ink. I want it to show up. So I'm just going to stamp a few of these onto my envelope. did leave some white space there because I want to be able to add some leaves and things like that to fill it in a little bit. So now I'm going to take that second stamp, ink it up. I'm not going to stamp off this time. I'm going to stamp it directly onto the flowers that I stamped earlier. Let me get these on here and then I'll show you what it looks like. Now you can see, I hope you can see it in the camera, where it's got the two different shades of blue. It was the same ink pad, it's just that I stamped off first on the background piece. Now let's get a few leaves in there just to fill up some of that white space. I'm going to use the shaded spruce for that. And I'm just going to stamp some leaves onto my flowers. Okay, I didn't add a whole lot, just a little bit to fill up some of that space. Hope you can see that okay. So that's how I decorate the envelopes. You can either stamp it with just, it only took a couple minutes, stamp it with some images that match your card, or use the designer series paper and glue that on and cut off the excess. That's all there is to it. It's a fun way to amp up your card a little bit and just make it a little more exciting. I mean, look at those bills and things that we get in the mail, how boring those envelopes are. So how fun would it be to get something that looked like one of these in the mail? So that's my Tuesday tip for you. Stamp up your envelopes, make it a little more fun. Have a great night, and until I see you again, keep stamping.